governments all over, they always come up with taxes, mainly to satisfy that economic theory of funding government. Now, the question which probably we need to debate, are these taxes relevant now? Are they appropriate in the right sector? Is it fair? Is it convenient? Is it efficient? And if you put all this into context, then we can probably now understand why these amendments. A brief analysis of the amendment proposal reveals that government wants to fill up a gap of about 1.9 trillion, which money they are thinking, I think, that they will forfeit when they now reduce on the debt financing. So they want to get that money from within. This amendment is likely to generate that. But if you look at it from a broader perspective, look at the population of Uganda. If you look at the statistics, they reveal we have over about 3 million people who are living in deficient housing. Over 3 million. Now, if you bring a proposal where you have majority of Ugandans of about 3 million, is not a small number, because this is Habitat for Humanity, which is a UN organization that gives those statistics. WOBOS also rotates within that same figure. That is Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Now, Charles, should we tax the housing sector? To me, I think no, they have gone too far, because while the proposal to introduce a withholding tax, I've heard people say they have introduced a tax. No. What I read, unless I receive clarification, it is a withholding. Withholding tax is the means of collection. It's not a tax per se. But once you file in your returns, you offset what you already paid. Now, the only difference is, because naturally we don't like remitting when we have the cash. Now, what URA and the government does, they make the other third party hold money that is not theirs, and they pay it to URA. And it is simpler. Once I know I have Charles' money, I bought land from him. He left me with his 5 million. The land was 100 million, so he left me with his 5 million. I can easily remit that 5 million than if that 5 million is mine. Okay? But also, now my challenge with that I have no problem. Because, first of all, the withholding tax is slightly lower than the threshold of 6%, which I think it is sort of a good consideration for the real estate sector, because the withholding tax is 6%. Now here it is 5%, which makes it, to me, look good. However, I'm concerned. We already have higher prices on building materials. You cannot increase the tax. You cannot put a tax on cement. You can't put a tax on adhesive, grout. These are common. Moreover, many people are sleeping in inadequate houses. Do you still want people to use cow dung? If people can't afford with the current pricing, you now, even besides, we have a speculative business-minded sector. You introduce by just 500. The guy increases, says they put a tax increases by 20,000. How much? Because right now, some hardwares sell cement as much as 45,000, 48, 50. How much will a bag of cement buy if you introduce this tax? How many people will afford tiled houses if adhesive and these other grout and these other things you introduce a tax on them? To me, the cost of those materials, even in steel and other things, is going to become high. And we shall see very many people living in inadequate housing. What should the government do? I think we have got to put our priorities right. Today, emphasis should be put on expenditure control.